All right, the next value shading technique I want to show you is hatching. Now remember, we have this vocabulary that's attached to this. Hatching is shading by using parallel lines. Drawing the lines closer together makes the value darker. So then also having the lines farther apart and using less pressure to create them will create lighter values. So when you do your hatching, I recommend again using your HB pencil. You can go back in and add some darker lines with your 2B and 6B, and also switch over to your 2H as you get to your lighter values. I also recommend that you go at an angle. Don't go just straight up and down, and don't go horizontal. If you go horizontal, then you're going to have to go light to dark or dark to light on a vertical axis. So I'm going to go at an angle. That's probably the best way to do it. Have a little bit more control. Now the thing you want to pay attention to is the edges, because you don't want your lines to be going outside of the edge too much. And you can see when I do this, I start out with very minimal lines, because I can go back in and keep adding those hatching lines. Now you want them to be dark in the dark values, but you don't want it to just be filled in solid, otherwise it's going to look too much like gradual shading. You can also switch, from shading from the bottom up or top down, just to help fill in those edges. I'm going to go ahead and grab my 2B just to add a little bit more value in my dark. So again, we're going dark to light from left to right. The hardest part is to get around those edges to make them look solid and not just like there's a nice little rim around it. And then as I am getting over to my light values, again, I want to have less lines spaced farther apart. Some of those original lines I added in, they were a little bit dark in that light area, so I am going to try and lighten that up with one of my erasers. So first I'm going to clean up my edges just so it looks a little nicer. Just those little bits that went outside that edge. And then I am going to use my kneaded eraser a little bit in my light area just to lighten up some of those lines. And I did get a little bit heavy in my medium area, so I can lighten that up. And I'm also going to go in and do just a little bit with my 6B. I really like nice, dark values. Don't afraid to go dark and show a full range. It's what makes things look 3D when you shade them properly. If you don't have that full range of values, your drawing is going to look flat. And that is the hatching.